When it comes to a successful black man, there's always some sort of downfall to his career. I mean, whether it is Shannon Sharp, Tory Lanez, P. Diddy, Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, what is that old man? Bill Cosby, Chris Brown. Come to think about it, like, I don't know any black man that is successful, that has an influence, has a voice, has a following, that hasn't been involved in some sort of scandal, or that hasn't been canceled in some sort of way.
When they saw that he was that quick to cover up Cassie, knowing he must have more skeletons, that's when they picked up the phone. They called King Charles. King Charles called whoever his connect is in the U.S. government, and his house was raided within a few weeks after he settled with Diageo. Diageo is who brought Puffy down. They're one of the biggest liquor companies in the world. Yeah. Puffy sued them for racism and advertising. He said that you keep on marketing my brand as an urban liquor. This is not urban liquor. Anybody can drink this. Puffy thought that they was putting him in the corner so it wouldn't affect the sales of their other brands. So he sued him. Diageo tried to get the lawsuit thrown out, and the judge sided with Puff, and it continued, and they started losing money, they started losing influence, and you know we spend more money on alcohol than any other group. They couldn't afford that, so Puffy brought them to their knees. Puffy made Diageo settle out of court. They wouldn't even go to trial. He made, and guess what? He basically embarrassed them, and they said, we're going to get his ass back. We're going to show, and remind you, they are a British-based company. You talking about that white Anglo-Saxon energy. You feel me? They said, we're going to show him. You don't ever challenge us like that. And within a few weeks after they settled, they raided his home.
Why do you need successful black people if you want to destroy our black people? Because in order to brainwash the other ones into believing that your failure is not due to systemic discrimination, it's due to the fact that you're not intelligent enough or you're not working hard enough. Do you see that? Right. So if Dr. Umar is a billionaire and you've been trying to get your business off the ground, it ain't popped yet. Yeah, you've been trying to get your corporation off the ground, it ain't popped yet. You didn't open up 10 business, they all didn't flop. You need me as the billionaire to come and say, fellas, it's not your fault. They designed the system to not work in your behalf. But because I love being rich and I love my proximity to white culture and lifestyle, I don't tell you it's not your fault that there's a game set up and there's only going to be a few Dr. Umars. I tell you the problem is yours.
Check this out. The reason why us as black people, we need to downplay our success or the fact that we're doing well in life, especially towards white people, is because your success is seen as a direct threat on white privilege. Now, this isn't just me saying this, but this is what happened exactly to Black Wall Street. Bunch of black people minding their own bloody business, being successful, was seen as a direct threat on white privilege. And the reason I say that is because white privilege only exists if a certain group has an advantage. If everyone has an advantage, then no one has privilege. You're now average. So if the lower class, which is what we were seeing at one point, starts to rise up, they see that as their privilege is coming down. That's why you doing well makes them look at themselves and like, how the hell have you got that? How are you buying a house? How are you buying a car? And they see it as a threat on them because their white people's success is only a privilege by the distance away from you as a black person. Now, this is not me trying to create a racial war or anything like that. I'm just breaking down in layman's terms why you shouldn't actually, and when I say, I'm not even talking about flexing on the gram or anything like that. I'm not talking about buying luxury stuff. I'm talking about even just average things. Even considered basic and average. Just buying a house will be seen as a threat to some people in the workplace. If you say, oh, I just bought my house, bought my second house or whatever, that's a direct threat to some white people because you shouldn't be doing the same things as them. The reason why is because, like I said before my previous video, racism is innately generational. It's passed down through generations. We wasn't even considered humans at one point. So how the hell can you have the same things as me? Do you see what I'm saying? And this is where, if you do this in environments where, like at work and whatnot, this can literally affect your bag. The hiring manager, the decision maker can get aware of this, and slowly, all of a sudden, your workload is getting removed. You're put on a PIP for no reason. You're made redundant. We know how it's played out. So in my opinion, you always downplay what you're really doing to save yourself. Think about it.
The music industry cannot let R. Kelly go free. Why? Because they don't want R. Kelly to expose them, and they don't want R. Kelly to regain control over his music. What does R. Kelly, Prince, and Tupac Shakur have in common? Not only were two of them murdered partially by the music industry, and a third, God forbid, is right now having his life attempted on by the music industry in collaboration with the government, and there's really no separation there because white power is white power. But what they have in common, Art, these are three artists who are known to have as much unpublished music as they had published music. Are you following me? Tupac's death was partly desired because they had so much money they still stood to make off of Tupac's unreleased music. Prince's death was partially desired because they had so much unpublished music that they could steal from Prince. And R. Kelly, same thing. R. Kelly, like Prince and Tupac, was a workaholic. He has all kinds of unpublished material. And what did R. Kelly lawyer assert back in 2022, Art? When he first went to jail, right before or right after his New York conviction, and right after his Chicago conviction. In 2022, R. Kelly told the media through his lawyer that hundreds of his master recordings, Art, for his unreleased music were stolen from his home and studio. Let me say that again. In 2022, right around the time he's convicted and sentenced, R. Kelly finds out that hundreds of his unreleased master recordings were stolen from his home and studio. And then what do we find, Art? That some of R. Kelly's music was found on some of the major streaming platforms without his submission and without his permission. How in the hell did the streaming platforms get music from R. Kelly that he never gave them? And then what else happened in 2022, Art? An album that R. Kelly didn't even create, called I Admit, was released in 2022, and it was quickly pulled from the shelf, and Sony Records, which is the parent company of RCA, who picked up R. Kelly after he was dropped from Jive, claimed no responsibility for the mysterious release of the I Admit album in 2022 while R. Kelly was in jail.
This is what a MAGA mind is.
Brand spanking new Lexus SUV. How is that possible? Integrate into the same neighborhood that I worked my entire life to get into. I don't understand it.
Why? Oh, yeah, here's this guy right here in his brand new Lexus.
There he is,
there
right
he
there.
is, right there. That guy right
It's
there.
what Make America Great Again has always meant to certain people. It's never been about patriotism. It's always been about hierarchy, about making sure black people stay in a place that makes them comfortable. Because let's be honest, imagine living in a country where 400 years you receive every privilege available. Free labor for almost 2 centuries, millions of acres of free land through the Homestead Act, government assistance when black folks were excluded, white veterans received GI Bills that sent them to college when black veterans who served the country faithfully did not, white home ownership through FHA loans that black people didn't get while black families were redlined into poverty. There was affirmative action for white folks long before the phrase was ever even created. Let me name a few more. Tax benefits, union protections, government contracts, Social Security programs that originally excluded black labor, corporate subsidies, banking systems built on predatory denial of black access, policing designed to guard white prosperity, and the unspoken privilege of always being seen and deserving, and all that for generations. And yet here we are, after everything designed to hold us back, we still here. It makes them a failure. We're still educating ourselves, still building businesses. It makes them a failure. Still growing wealth, still buying homes, still pulling up in our Lexuses. That makes them a failure. We still thrive in the ways this country has never planned for us to thrive. And it makes them feel like failures. Because that's what they are. That's why it bothers them. Because to them, our success is what it is. it makes them failures. They feel better when they can look down on us. They feel safer when we have to struggle. They feel whole when we are broken. So when they say make America great again, what they are really saying is let's go back and reset the hierarchy. Let's put them back in their place, which is beneath us. Let's strip away any progress that they've made. Let's take away all their rights, all their opportunities, all the wins that make them feel equal. Because for us to feel equal, it makes them feel like failures. Because they've had every advancement known to man, and yet here we are, and that's why our excellence is so powerful, y'all. Because every time we disrupt the narrative they depended on for 400 years, every time we win and we break the system that was never designed for us to succeed, every time we shine, we expose the weakness of a structure built on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen wealth. It's their failure. This is why our success is revolutionary. It's not just about your car, your house, or your lifestyle. It's a reminder that despite every barrier placed in our way, we still here, thriving, winning, and redefining greatness in our terms. And they're still what they are. Failures.
Finish paying for my wife's blouses here and I'm going to exit the store.
Well, I'll be the one to decide what happened. I don't mean to interrupt your business, but I need to make sure you're not someone that's a threat. And if I need to see your ID...
Or it's like a prank or something? I mean...
Again, if I need to see your ID, I need to see your ID. So we can elevate this if we want.
And you can't
We're doing that.
walk up on me and say, hey, give me your ID. Like,
You're just some lawyer or something?
Actually, I am an attorney, so yes.
Oh, I'm an attorney. My bad. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So then you should know.
You're attempting to break the law, and you're doing it right in front of this young lady right here, which is atrocious to me. I mean...
Okay. Jeopardy word, I appreciate that.
All right, sir.
I appreciate the Jeopardy and Scrabble words and all that. But if you could just show me your ID, don't just go grab.
No.
Do you have any weapons in your pocket? You can't just go.
Absolutely not.
So you should know I'm the law. So why are you not abiding by the law?
I'm so sorry. This guy obviously is on a power trip or something.
Don't disrespect me and engage with her. Are you going to show me your ID or are we going to have a problem?
I'm going to show you my ID.
Okay, because you're a lawyer or something and you know the law now. You're going to explain to me the law.
Yes, I know.
Okay, well then you should know I am the law at this point.
Right, and you can't just walk up on me and ask for my ID. I know that.
This isn't a law book. That's all cute and all.
Is he or is he not detained?
Ma'am, I just need to see his
If he
ID.
is not, then I'm asking you to please leave my boutique. You can go harass someone outside, but this gentleman has been shopping for 30 minutes.
I'm not here to harass
Yes or
anyone.
no?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes or no?
You're lucky that she's going to protect you in this. I'll be outside. We better not have an issue. Are we going to have an issue?
I'll have security walking.
Thank you. It's fine. I deal with this kind of ignorance.
Have a nice day,
Ignorance.
sir. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Good.
You know, I'll never forget the day a white buddy of mine said black people don't deserve equality because they could never get enough. And that's true. White people are actually scared of equality. That's just how racist we are as a people. And it's not just that one person. White culture in general. Probably I would say most white people, when they hear the word equality, they fear that white people will be oppressed because brown, black, and indigenous people might actually get what's fair and just. That's just how racist we are. And we're so obsessed with the idea of not having equality in America for black, brown, and indigenous people that we don't have health care, that we don't have economic equality. We don't have reasonable gun laws. Our liberties are being stripped because we have a fascist, racist, white supremacist regime in office because we are so scared of equality. We're so scared that black and brown folks might become the majority one day. That we had a black president, and now we've got to have a white supremacist president. That's how scared we are of equality. That's how racist we are as a people. Go to the fucking root. The root of America's problems. The root of the white man and the white woman, their problems, and America and the world. If you think about it. Colonialization, white supremacy, the mentality of white people today, not just yesterday, today, right now, the denial racially, the silence, the apathy, the continuous gaslighting, all that fucking shit, that's ruined us. It's ruined white people and it's ruining our nation. And whose fault is it? White people's fault. Their inability to fucking fix their goddamn problem. Until we fix white supremacy, everything we try will fail. It's dysfunctional and it's toxic, and Trump and this regime is the perfect proof of all that shit. How we got in this fucking mess? white people's bullshit. White people's racist fucking bullshit. Period.
White people, check out this video real quick.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
This is from South Carolina's game yesterday in Texas. The South Carolina player had just scored a touchdown and was walking through the tunnel when the Texas Ranger intentionally shoulder barges him and his teammate. This video is such a great example of whiteness and control culture for the following 3 reasons. 1, it shows how we as white people get our feelings hurt so easily when black people are just out there performing magic. 2, it shows how willing we are to use any authority we may have to engage in violence when we see black excellence. 3, it demonstrates that when we engage in this violence, we then try to blame the person that we've hurt for causing the violence in the first place. White people, as always, we need to be doing much better. I hope this helps.
And this is why they hate blacks in America so much, the white power structure. We're the only non-white people in the country who cannot be sent home. Right. You cannot be deported. Slavery destroyed your cultural, psychological, and intellectual connection to your ancestral homeland. If the Ghanaian get on your nerve, he go back to Ghana. If the Puerto Rican gets on your nerves, he go back to Puerto Rico. If the Afro-Cuban gets on your nerves, he or she go back to Cuba. If the Chinese get on your nerves, send them back to China. If the East Indian gets on your nerves, send them back to India. If the Arab gets on your nerve, send them back to one of the Middle Eastern states. But when American Africans get on your nerves, where do you deport us to? Most American Africans are so brainwashed, they think they're American. So you cannot deport them because this is what they identify with most. So in other words, the white man created his own problem, which makes it almost impossible to deport us. So the only way to get rid of us is a systemic system of racial genocide. And that's what they're using.
Let's get to action. I don't care if you understand it, you don't understand it. I'm a warrior. I've been in head to head with these folks in corporate America. You know what I'm saying? Like when they ask the question, is there systemic racism? And nobody answers the question. I'm like, yo, no, hold on. This systemic racism, they trying to keep their foot on the neck up to my level, up to Jay-Z's level, up to LeBron's level. It's an illusion of inclusion by just a couple of us. So I could sit back here in the crib, but I'm not with it. I'm from that same block. I'm a frontliner. I'm with the smoke at any time, no matter where my address is at. We're in a war. This shit is not a fucking game. Everybody needs to wake up. I'm ringing the alarm. I'm having to start right now to organize and to come together, and so we could build our political army unapologetically for the things that matter to us.
Do you believe there's a way to vote and support like your personal interests and the interests of your people as a whole?
Yeah. See, when you at our Black Party, we love free-thinking, free-minded people and individuals. That's all we want in life, is to be able to be free and to be able to think as free as we want. But you have a responsibility to your people to ride on what they riding with for the betterment of the good of the whole overall tribe. We are a people that have been abused the most. And we got to start biting their legs off. That's right. You know, when they put their foot on our neck, we got to start biting that shit off. When they shooting us in the back, we got to start defending ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing going to stop unless you stop it. It's black insanity. We have to get off of this. We have to wake up and see what's going on. The world is watching.
Because it's such an easy conversation to have.
Everybody around the world copies African Americans and then yet disrespects them. GPS is a black woman. 3D imaging is a black woman. Laser eye surgery is a black woman. Escalators a black inventor. Elevators a black inventor. The roller coasters, the cell phone, our video games is Jerry Lawson, Mary Van Brighton. In 1966, she invented the home security. You talking about open heart surgery, Daniel Hale, plasma, Charles Drew. We can keep going. Surgical equipment, black people inventing, just constantly inventing. And they took everything and lied. Black people are still thriving. Black women have the highest degrees in America. These are the same women that were operated on with no anesthesia, but they're #1 in academics. Atrocities that African Americans have been through, I'm surprised we are this peaceful.
Black man invented the stoplight. White man invented a ticket. Keep going. Black man invented the light bulb. White man invented electric bill.
Black man invented the telephone. The white man invented the telephone bill.
Really gonna be then you should be a true did not use anything or be involved with anything that was invented or created by blacks. Do you want a list? The ironing board, the refrigerator, the baby carriage, shoemaking machines, the traffic signal, the incandescent light bulb, the folding bed, the mailbox, air conditioning, elevator. You want me to go on?
I get a lot of flack and ridicule for being a successful black man who's currently not in a monogamous relationship with a black woman. And what that example is for not only my own children, but even, you know, people who look up to me, or they're trying to lead by example, because, you know, even as a lot, I get quite often, I see it in the comments of like, you can't be pro-black in the streets and white in the sheet.
Maybe that's not your sole contract to marry a black woman, but to take care of the black community. I want to encourage us, invite us in this day and age to stop, to really reconsider the kind of chains that we place on each other. We don't call it enslavement. Your opinion of me is a chain around my neck.
14 years, from 1863 to 1877, look at the progress that black people made attempting to be free, pardon me. Blacks made great strides achieving political offices, developing private businesses, even setting up dozens of all-black towns. In fact, about it, we had built 60 towns. But white terrorists targeted them for destruction. As in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the first bombs that ever fell in America or on American soil fell on Black Wall Street. Y'all remember Black Wall Street in Tulsa?
Why do white people resent black excellence? Let's talk about it. Not all white people are racist, obviously, but there is a specific subset for whom black excellence seems like a personal affront to them, right? It really bothers them when black people succeed. The 13th Amendment emancipated enslaved black Americans in 1865, and then the Jim Crow laws kind of wrapped up with the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. So if we do the math, that's about 61 years in which black Americans were able to strive for success in any sort of meaningful way without like the constraints of the law pulling them down. 61 years. If we compare that to white Americans who besieged a land already owned and occupied by indigenous Americans, we'll put that around 1620 when, you know, the Mayflower came here, then that gives them about 425 years to establish success in this country. 425 versus 61. If we compare those two fundamentally very different time spans, like, how much did white Americans actually do in all of that time? If we were to compare even the poorest and most underprivileged of white America to black America generally, it is clear that white Americans are born way past the start line, right? By that I mean, by like nature of being white in American society, you do benefit from all sorts of privileges. And like, to be frank, you're not exhausted by the horrible experience of facing racism on a daily basis, right? You do have a ton of privileges. So I imagine existing in this bubble of privilege that you like totally deny, the existence of black people for whom success is like second nature, when it comes so easily and so readily, even though you've only had 61 years to achieve it, I imagine that's exhausting and frustrating. I imagine it makes people feel super, super inferior and hurts certain people's tiny, tiny little egos. And what do they blame that deep, deep psychic pain on? Well, of course, DEI and critical race theory and affirmative action. So I guess the question is, what might help those white Americans who just so strongly detest black excellence? Like, what will help you? And for that, I would suggest like a lot of therapy, like a ton of therapy. And I would also just suggest that we open the schools, right? We teach people history. Yeah, maybe? Okay, bye.
What's happened with Diddy is not only a travesty, but has never happened in American history. Right. I mean, if you go back to Jack Johnson and the Mann Law, it's the White Slavery Act. Right there.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what is that? When you traffic across state lines, Diddy did not sleep with the prostitutes. Right. They don't even have the money transfer in his hand. Okay, so Cassie had all the fun and has made $50 million to now. Right. Got what, 25 out of the hotel and 20 out of him?
Yeah, something like that.
50, 40, whatever the heck it was. And come on, this Diddy thing, look, the Mann Act has never been used in the way that it's being used. That the judge, when he's sitting there doing the sentencing, said, I'm going to add the enhancements of what you were acquitted of. So I got acquitted on the coercion, on all of this stuff, and you're putting that on the enhancements of my sentencing? Like, how does that even make sense? Well, I can't unsee it. I was here. That's what he said. I was here. I heard the testimony. The jury found him not guilty of that testimony. But you're adding that to his sentencing? Nobody, pimps, prostitutes, whatever. Look, in 800 cases of the Mann Act that I have looked at, okay, and researched, kids with the 12 years old that were tortured and raped and all of this kind of stuff got a year and a half. Jeffrey Epstein got a year for trafficking minors. Diddy didn't even touch a hoe. You know what I'm saying?